All right. So if somebody missed some part of this concept, don't worry. This is a standalone concept useful for only for some part of the questions. So it is not the whole vector algebra. Last class, I discussed a lot of definitions about what is a vector, what is equality of vectors. When you multiply a vector with a scalar, what will happen and all that. Okay. I'm not going to give definitions and all like in the detailed notes. Okay. That is there in our IP textbook. In our recent mains material synopsis, all the definitions are there once again. Okay. But few proofs I want to discuss, which already I gave an overall idea, but in a formal way, I want to discuss it. And then some important concepts like collinearity and coplanarity I want to discuss today. Okay, so one thing I want to remind you is what is position vector. Okay, a point cannot be represented as a vector. So that's why in the space anywhere you can fix origin. Okay, those who want to put heading, at least in a formal way, you can put right now and even write today's date. What is today's date?
18th.
18.
18/1/2000. All right. Okay. So, okay, what is position vector is normally a vector means any physical quantity which has magnitude and direction, and we can represent it will have some length and some direction and all. But a point, of course, we can represent as null vector. But apart from that, you want to fix the point. You take origin anywhere, on this board or outside this board, anywhere in the space. If this is P, OP bar is called position vector of P. And if there is some M here, OM bar is called position vector of M. Okay. So only the tip of that vector starts from origin and ends with that point. The tip of that point is just a point, but we are representing from origin to that point as a vector to know where its position is. That is called position vector. Next, whenever 2 points are there, A and B, and you want to know AB bar, it is position vector of B minus position vector of A. Okay, how did we prove that? If you remember, you take origin somewhere. This is OA bar, this is AB bar, and this is OB bar. You can say this plus this is equal to this. So OA bar plus AB bar is equal to OB bar. Send OB that side, we'll get this. Okay. So whenever you want a vector joining 2 points, let's say you want PQ bar, it is position vector of second point, which is OQ bar, minus position vector of first point, which is OP bar. Okay, so not necessary to write, but if somebody still want to write, I can just give one or two points. Okay, first point, OP bar is called position vector of point P. Okay, second point, AB bar is equal to OB bar minus OA bar. That is position vector of B minus position vector of A. Okay, whatever I'm writing today, just write in the class notes and don't think it is a complete notes. Already complete notes is there in IP textbook and in SN mains material. But some point what I'm telling you can write it. And how did we prove this? If this is O, this is A, this is B, OA bar plus AB bar according to triangle law is OB bar. And based on that, AB bar is OB bar minus OA. Next, third point. If M is a midpoint of AB, OM bar is equal to OA bar plus OB bar by 2. Okay. How we have done this is, if this is O, this is A, this is B, this is M, I can draw the parallelogram and say half of the side, but I want to write as like this. AM bar is equal to MB bar. Why? Because M is the midpoint. So AM and MB have same length and both have same direction. So I can write this. And AM bar is position vector of M minus position vector of A. MB bar is position vector of B minus position vector of M. When I bring 2 times OM bar is OA bar plus OB bar. When I divide with 2, OM bar is OA bar plus OB bar by 2. Okay, that's how we derived this formula. Right. Okay, up to second point I'm erasing. Okay, extension of this if you want to use section formula. Okay, that is if M divides AB in the ratio M is to N, instead of M you can write P also. M is to N, then OP bar is equal to M into OB bar plus N into OA bar by M plus N. Okay, only prove that this is O, this is A, this is B, P can be anywhere, this is M is to N. I can write AP bar by M is equal to PB bar by N. Why that? First of all, AP and PB have same direction, and AP bar and PB are not equal vectors because the lengths or magnitudes are not equal. Because when I divide with M, this will become unit vector, this will become unit vector, at least in the same ratio. Okay. I can even take MK and NK and divide also. Okay. Let AP is equal to MK and PB equal to NK. Then I can write a K here. This is a unit vector, this is also unit vector in the same direction, so they must be equal. When I cancel K and do cross multiplication, I'll get N into AP can be written as OP bar minus OA bar. M into PB bar I can write OB bar minus OP bar. N OP bar minus N OA bar. M OB bar minus M OP bar. If we bring one side, we will get M plus N times OP bar equal to M OB bar plus N OA bar. And now divide, we will get it. Okay, last class I explained, but maybe I did not write it. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, somebody wrote earlier in the previous class, same thing, you don't have to write. Of course. Okay, I hope everybody clear about the proof of the section formula.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So just as a continuation, I want to derive the centroid also. Take O, A, B, and the midpoint M, and then centroid, which divides in the ratio 2:1. Okay. This is not O, sorry. C, and this is G. Okay. So OG bar, this formula is OA bar plus OB bar plus OC bar by 3. How did it come? First of all, OM bar is midpoint, so OB bar plus OA bar by 2. And then CG is to GM. CG is to GM is 2:1. So OG bar will be 2 times OM bar plus 1 into OC bar by 2 plus 1. 2 times OM bar is exactly OA plus OB. So OA plus OB plus OC by 3. Okay, we're done in-centered other way, but almost similar lines we'll write once again, just for the sake of notes. This is ABC, and this is the D, angular bisector, where these two angles are equal, and in center is somewhere here. Okay, OI bar formula is A into OA bar, B into OB bar, plus C into OC bar by A plus B plus C. Okay, so first of all, what we know in the proof, what is that? BD is to DC according to elliptical angular bisector theorem. AB is to AC, which is C is to B. So OD bar will be C into OC bar plus B into OB bar by C plus B. And now I divides in that ratio. AI is to ID is B plus C is to A. So OI bar B plus C into OD bar plus A into OA bar by B plus C plus C. OD bar you multiply B plus C, you'll get this. So finally you are getting A into OA bar, B into OB bar, and C into OC bar by A plus B plus C. Just only one more of this type, which is centroid of tetrahedron. Let's say this is D, this is A, this is B, and this is C. There will be one centroid for triangle ABC. I'll call it as G. And when you call D and G somewhere on that, let me write a little off. Let me show G somewhere here and A somewhere here. Okay. So this I can call G1 and actual centroid of the total I can call G. Okay. If G is centroid of tetrahedron ABCD, then OG bar is OA bar plus OB bar plus OC bar plus OD bar by 4. Okay. How did we prove? First of all, OG1 bar. Okay. Proof. Let G1 be centroid of triangle ABC. That is OG1 bar is OA bar plus OB bar plus OC bar by 3. And we should also know that DG is to GG1 is 3:1. The centroid of the tetrahedron divides the line segment joining one vertex to the opposite centroid of the face in the ratio 3:1. So based on this, OG bar 3 times OG1 bar plus 1 into OD bar by 3 plus 1, which is exactly OA plus OB plus OC plus OD by 4. Okay, so now I want to discuss some collinearity and coplanar,ty of vectors. Okay, those who have the mains material, take mains material volume 2, page number 3. Page number 3, mains material volume 2, page number 3. Okay, I'm going to erase what is there on the board.
Sir, don't rub 7th ones.
Okay. Okay, those who are copying, just continue copying. But others, those who completed, the center of mass method that I said, in a 3-dimensional way, there can be questions which are lengthy or tough. But with this center of mass, we can do it very easily. Especially in this figure, I can talk about something like that. See, I have a triangle ABC. Okay. And a point D in the space. This is a three-dimensional figure. ABC is in one plane, D is not in that plane, it is in some other space or some other plane. I can join like this, right? Okay. Now I can say divide BC in the ratio 5:3. Let us say that is some L. Join A and L. Divide with some P in some ratio 2:9 or something. Okay, that is I'll call P. And that P I want to join to D. Okay, this is 2:9. Now take a point on that D and P. Okay, in the ratio, let us say whatever 4:3. Okay, that is a point. Now I can ask you, take B, take that point, let us say some Q, take BQ and extend it. It will meet ADC plane in some point. B is there, Q is in the space. Take BQ and extend it. It will meet the plane of ADC at some point. BQ and some point. Let us I'll call that as some M. I can ask what is BQ is to QM, or that M. Of course, some people are not able to see that M clearly. Let me say another thing. Let me draw on just a minute. So they're copying the 7th one, copy. Okay, this is A, B, C, and D. I can take a point like this here, and then here, and then a point here, and a join, and this. This is better. This I'll call P1, this is P2, this is P3, and this is P4. Okay, let me explain. This is a triangle ABC, D is not in this space. Okay, P1 divides B and C in the ratio, let us say 7:3. Then P2 divides A and P1 in the ratio, let us say some 2:5. And then P3 divides D and P2 in the ratio some, okay, 3:4. Now I can ask, take C and join to P3, extend it till it meets triangle ABD plane. Let's say that is P4. What is CP3 is to DP4? Oh, sorry, CP3 is to P3 P4. You don't have to tell me the answer. You just tell me whether I understood the question or not.
No, sir.
Not understood. Okay. I said first to take a point on BC, dividing B and C in some ratio 7:3. Okay. Join A and P1. Is that okay now? Okay. Now, on AP1, take a point which divides A and P1 in the ratio 2:5. That to call it as P2. Okay. So first we started with the line segment. Next, we took a point inside the triangle ABC, which divides AP1 in some ratio. Now take that and join to D. That is D and P2. You can divide in the ratio, let us say 3:4. That I am calling P3. Okay. P3 is in somewhere inside the tetrahedron. Okay, in this space. Take C and P3 and extend it. It will meet plane ADB, triangle ADB at some point P4. Okay. I can ask what is CP3 is to P3 P4. Okay. Have you understood the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you want to do by vectors or your 3D geometry or something, somehow it can be done. Okay. It's going to be a little lengthy. Okay. And we have to adjust carefully. If you can actually put masses such a way that all these ratios are satisfied, and final center of mass of the total 4 masses will come here at P3, then they can ask anything I can tell. They can ask DP3, something else. For example, they can say BP4 join and extend here. This is some K. What is BP4 is to P4K? I can tell. Anything I want, they can tell, but I have to adjust the masses. I'm not trying to tell the solution here. I'm just presenting a question where using the center of masses, you can relate that it can be done. I may have to put 3 kg here, 7 kg, which is effectively 10. Based on 5:2, I have to put a 4 kg here. Then this is 10 and this is 4, so I have to put a 14 kg here. That is 3:4, so 3 times this. So I don't want to use 3 here. Let us say it is 1:2. One part is 14 means 2 part I have to put 28 kgs here. Okay. Once I get the masses, I'm sure I'll be able to manage other things. Okay. I'm just giving an idea only. Don't have to worry about solving it. And don't think it is there in somewhere in the material for you. I'm just projecting the earlier question to little next dimension. Okay, in the meantime, the 7th one completed. Those are not completed earlier. Okay. Okay, now what I'm going to tell, they're very, very simple points, but later on they will be very useful. Or sometimes we do something, we may not even know the reason why are we doing it. I'll tell you, in physics, you may be doing this. 5i plus 3j, if it is equal to ai plus bj. This is one vector, this is another vector. If I equate, I can tell a equal to 5 and b equal to 3, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
But why? What is this equating coefficients and all? It's not like a polynomial that we are equating x coefficient to x square coefficient. Okay. So why a must be 5 and b must be 3. Okay. Or for that matter, if I tell 7a bar plus 9b bar is equal to some x a bar plus y b bar, can I say x is equal to 7 and y equal to 9 from this? No, not necessary. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Let us take a bar equal to 2i and b bar equal to 7i, or not even 3i, let us say. Okay. Now substitute a bar as 2i and b bar as 3i. What will happen to LHS? 14 plus 27, right? 31i. Is it correct? 7 2s are 14, plus 9 3s are 21. 31 or 41? 41i, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
What will happen to RHS? 2x plus 3y into I. Now tell me, do you say still that x must be 7 and y must be 9?
No, sir.
No, there are many combinations, right? You
Yes.
can, yeah, you can fix. Let's say y is 11, you'll get some x value. Put y equal to 21, you'll get some x value. Put y equal to 1000, you'll get some x value. Okay, so here we are able to say a equal to 5, b equal to 3, but here we cannot say x is 7 and y is 9. When can we say that? Okay, so I'm going to explain those parts. Or y, I and j are first of all in vectors, they come that. Okay. Satyanan, you sent a file or what? In chart.
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Fine. Okay, now all of you can read these points if you want. Okay, page number 3, I said 20th one, collinear vectors. Up to 19 points, everything I explained either in my previous class or today's class. Okay, all the simple definitions and some inequalities and all that, and some proofs I told today. And they are very simple points. Okay, 20th one. What is that? Two vectors are said to be collinear. There's a difference between points collinear and vectors collinear. Okay. 2 points are always collinear in the space, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You can take any 2 points, you can join a line. All right. 3 points, they may be collinear, may not be collinear. Okay. But what do you mean by 2 vectors are collinear? Is that the vectors are parallel. When you said vectors are collinear, it means vectors are parallel. If you take a vector here and a vector here, maybe little longer, they're in the same line. They're obviously parallel vectors. They can say collinear. If that vector is not here, it is here, still doesn't matter because vector doesn't have a fixed place. As long as they're parallel, you can move it anywhere. Again, it will become collinear. So in vectors, when you say collinear, that means they are parallel.
Parallel.
Yes. Okay, now, when can you say 2 vectors are parallel? Let us say two vectors A bar and B bar are parallel. They have same direction but different magnitude. Definitely, I'll be able to write B bar as a multiple of A bar. I can write B bar as 5A bar or 2A bar or 9 by 3A, 9 by 2A bar, something. Okay. We can write one vector as a multiple of another vector. Okay. That is exactly the point. Two vectors are said to be collinear if they are parallel or equal lines of support. First point. What is the next Roman 1? That A bar is a non-zero, not null vector. Vectors A bar and B bar are collinear if and only if there exists a lambda, that is a real number, such that B bar equal to lambda A bar. So whenever two vectors are parallel, definitely you can write one vector as a scalar or a number, real number into another vector. Okay. You don't have to write. As I said, my notes is never complete in your class notes. You have to go only look for the material only. Okay. What is the second point? A1i plus A2j plus A3k, if this vector, okay, is parallel to B1i plus B2j plus B3k. If these two vectors are parallel, I can say A1 by B1 equal to A2 by B2 equal to A3 by B3. Anybody want to tell the proof of this? If they're parallel, why ratio of A1 by B1, A2 by B2, A3 by 3, they should be equal. Yes?
Sir, first vector is a multiple of second vector, no, sir?
Yeah, if they are parallel, one vector can be written as some lambda into another vector. Now, when equate I coefficients, A1 equal to lambda B1, A2 equal to lambda B2 J coefficients, and K coefficient is A3 equal to lambda B3. Now, what is lambda? You can write A1 by B1, which is equal to A2 by B2, which is equal to A3 by B3. That's it. Okay, so the second point that two vectors are parallel if and only if the corresponding ratios are equal came from the first point. Okay. Look at third one. It's same as first point with a slight change. Otherwise, they're same. A bar and B bar are parallel vectors or collinear vectors if and only if we should be able to identify one lambda into A bar plus one mu into B bar equal to 0. If some real number into A bar plus some real number into B bar should be 0. This is same as first point only. Let us say somebody is able to identify B bar is 7 by 2 times A bar. B bar and A bar, are they parallel or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I can bring 2 here and say 2B bar equal to 7A bar and send that side and say 7 into A bar plus minus 2 into B bar equal to 0. Okay. So there is no difference in a sense saying B bar equal to some KA bar or some number into A bar plus some number into B bar equal to 0. Okay. Both are same. But there is one exception. 0 into A bar plus 0 into B bar. It is 0 bar. Actually, I should write 0 bar here. There is a difference between this 0 and this 0. This 0 is a scalar, whereas this final one is a vector. Okay, like here, this is a vector, this is a vector. Their sum cannot be a number, so I should write 0 bar here, or O bar. Anyway, 0 into A bar plus 0 into B bar equal to 0. It's always true, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
From that I cannot say A and B are parallel vectors. Even if they are not parallel also, it is correct, right?
Yes, sir. We cannot.
So, if A bar and B bar are parallel vectors, we can identify lambda and mu such a way that lambda A bar plus mu B bar is 0. But lambda may be 0, mu may be 0, but both lambda and mu cannot be 0 simultaneously. So, you can look at the third statement. Let us see. Okay. Vectors A bar and B bar are collinear if and only if there exists lambda mu belongs to R with at least one of them non-zero. What is the opposite of at least one of them non-zero?
One of them is 0.
No, both of them are 0 is the opposite statement. At least one of them is non-zero means either lambda is non-zero or mu is non-zero or both lambda and mu is non-zero. What is the opposite of that statement?
Both are 0.
Are 0. Yes. So you cannot take both 0. Only when both 0, then there is no compulsory that A and B should be parallel. Okay, so as long as A and B are parallel, we can find both non-zero or at least one of them non-zero, such a way that this will happen. So this is same as first point with a slightly different way of expressing it. That's all. Now, let us see. I know that A bar is not parallel to B bar. A bar is parallel to B bar, we'll write like this, not parallel, we'll write like this. A bar is not parallel to B bar, but I am able to tell some number into A bar. Okay, let us say some K into A bar plus some L into B bar equal to 0 bar. I am able to tell. Okay, don't say it is not possible. I am saying it is possible. A and B are not parallel, but still I am able to find a relation between A and B like this. When this is possible?
When K and L equal to 0.
Yeah, when K and L are 0. Sorry, I did not notice the time. Okay. Madam, sorry, madam, I did not notice the time.